Zohran Mamdani has been sworn in as the 112th mayor of New York City, and Senator Bernie Sanders was there to make it official.
I, Zohran Kwame Mamdani.
I, Zohran Kwame Mamdani.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Senator Sanders administered Mamdani's oath of office in front of thousands of New Yorkers this afternoon. Mamdani is the city's first Muslim mayor and, at 34 years old, one of its youngest ever. He's made promises to freeze rent, eliminate bus fares, and provide universal child care. Policies Senator Sanders says are vital to help tackle affordability concerns.
You know, all of us have heard how Zohran's opponents have called the agenda that he campaigned on radical, communistic, and absolutely unachievable. Really? That's not what we believe.
Mamdani was sworn in as mayor just after midnight in one of New York City's oldest subway stations.